Okay. A bit unorthodox on the demo side. I took demo day pretty serious, and we're just gonna jump right into a demo. Space and Time is a decentralized data warehouse. What we've built is really the first ever ZK-proofed data warehouse. We built a novel ZK proof called Proof of SQL that allows us to not just execute queries against blockchain data or off-chain data, but actually prove that the query results are accurate. Space and Time was built to allow smart contracts to directly query a ZK verified database off-chain, a scalable database that can hold terabytes of data and actually connect that data and aggregate that data on behalf of smart contracts. The user experience for Space and Time is something really unique and different and exciting. The first thing you see when you open up Space and Time is all the different blockchains that we index. If I open up the Ethereum data set, you'll see a relational data set that represents a relational, easy to query, easy to understand copy of Ethereum. If I zoom in a bit, you'll see in the middle of this relational data model, the transactions table from Ethereum. I'll go ahead and search for wallets, for example. And we'll see that the native wallets table can be joined with our blocks table. It's very easy to navigate, find what you need. I was on a call with a customer yesterday saying, hey, how do I find timestamps for blocks? So I just looked up timestamps and found a number of tables that have timestamps related, or looking up the blocks tables, for example, we can find blocks and blocks details and all the other tables that can be joined. This gets really helpful when we're actually going to write a query against blockchain data. If I say select all from Ethereum blocks or block details, for example, it automatically updates to show me the table I've referenced in my query and any other tables that I could join that are available to join with my query. So as I'm writing my query, it kind of shows me on the right side the tables available to join with the tables I've referenced. Now, here's where it gets really fun. I believe that SQL is sort of going away as a written language and rather being replaced by prompts, which then generate SQL on behalf of business analysts. SQL is the future, but no one is going to write it. Instead, they'll write prompts. Show me all wallets with the most NFTs, for example. OpenAI returns back a SQL query in just a few seconds. And if that SQL query has any issues and doesn't execute against Space and Time, then OpenAI self-upgrades the query and fixes the query with an agent-based feedback model. In this case, OpenAI returned back SQL automatically for us. That was executed in a few seconds, and Space and Time automatically visualizes the query result for you, takes its best guess at what it believes might be the best query result. From there, we can customize that query result. We can save that chart as, let's say, a new chart, chart for, we'll call this chart for NFT ownership. And now we'll come back to that saved chart in just a moment. And I'll show you how we can use that chart. Going back to the query editor, we can paste in a bit more complicated prompt. Show me all Ethereum wallets and their balances for wallets that have at least 2 transactions on chain. This query is a bit harder. It's going to be a few more lines of SQL. And I just wanted to demonstrate OpenAI returning back a query result in a few seconds. That query result isn't actually accurate. Based on agent-based feedback, OpenAI fixes the query and it executes against Space and Time. You can see that it's running now in the bottom right corner. As it's running, on the right-hand side, we show the tables of context that we're sending over to OpenAI. All this context that we're sending about the schema. And that could be customer data, that could be off-chain data they've loaded in, or indexed blockchain data we collect as a service. Space and Time automatically indexes Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, Binance, SWI, and the test nets. And so we as a service are going and collecting this real-time data from these major chains into a 20, 30 terabyte database. And we send all the context of the schema for those blockchains or those customer created tables over to OpenAI so that it can generate the correct SQL for us in a relatively complicated query. The query results shown below, and then of course we attempt to visualize it. Now, sometimes visualizing a query result is a little goofy and doesn't really make, the guesses that we take are not accurate. That's okay. A customer can just customize it pretty quickly by, for example, changing X and Y addresses, X and Y fields, and save their query and so forth. Once we've saved the queries we like, it's a pretty straightforward process to build a dashboard. I can start with a header image for my brand. Uploading a header image automatically brands the dashboard according to your brand. So Braintrust and Lava, I just watched. They both did great presentations. If Lava Network uploads a picture of a volcano, it'll automatically brand their dashboard red, for example. So you get to a very quick time to value with building the dashboards you want. I'll drag in a chart I just made for that chart for NFT ownership. I'll drag in some, maybe some markdown if I want to describe it. I'll just put in some test information about this dashboard. We'll call this test demo dashboard 1, and we'll save it.
Scott, kindly reminder, you still have 3 minutes left.
Awesome. From there, I'll be able to now view my brand new dashboard with the chart that I just created with just a prompt, a query result, a data visualization, and a few clicks. Now I have a new dashboard. But wait, there's more. We built a chatbot inside of Space and Time called Houston to make it easier for customers to actually ask the same kind of questions or generate Python scripts inside of the chatbot. Show me all wallets with the most NFTs, for example. Try that again. And so we can generate SQL from within the chatbot, and that SQL automatically executes, and now we see a query result inside the chatbot. Once I have a query result that I'm comfortable with, I can send data to chain. I can actually generate a Chainlink job, a Chainlink direct request or Chainlink functions job to actually put this query result on chain, send it to my smart contracts. Space and Time is all about connecting off-chain data to your smart contract or connecting data from other chains to your smart contract. Finally, some of our customers say, hey, we love that you collect the entire data set of Ethereum, Avalanche, Polygon, Binance, SWI, etc. But all I really care about is just my smart contract events. I don't need everything from Ethereum. I just need my things, for example. So let's look up SushiSwap. If I go to, for example, let's say the Master Chef contract on SushiSwap. What a user can do is paste in a smart contract address they care about. In this case, I just paste in the SushiSwap Master Chef contract. Space and Time goes out and finds, there was no API available for that, but Space and Time goes and finds the API for that smart contract and then generates new smart contract events based on that data. Customers can also build data pipelines. They can build, a pipeline that involves Python, SQL, Kafka streams, etc., and start to kind of build out a data pipeline from left to right in a node-based architecture as well. And then, start to add Python scripts to their data pipeline as well, not just SQL. That's a very quick demo of Space and Time and, the user experience that we've created to make it easier for customers to find the blockchain data they need, explore blockchain data, and connect it to their smart contracts. I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
Sure. I think we have one question from the QA session. Can you look into that one? When do you think the decentralized database will replace Oracle database, and do you really think it will replace, and why?
Did I apologize? Did I stop sharing?
Your screen is still sharing.
Okay, no, pause share. There we go.
Mhm.
That should have done it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
so
seen it?
in terms of replacing centralized databases, I mean, we've spent the last year and a half actually building a new data warehouse from the ground up. That's an HTAP database, meaning it's a hybrid of transactional workloads and analytic workloads together in the same database. So powers low latency apps and powers big analytic jobs in the same data warehouse. There's not really a lot of popular Web 2 centralized databases that even do that. Then you add on the ZK verified component of this. We actually generate a ZK proof for our queries. And that's optional, right? That's a toggle our customers can turn on. I think just the capabilities that we're bringing to the table are something that no Web 2 centralized database has. They have no user experience like this yet, powered by OpenAI, and they don't have hybrid transactional and analytic capabilities. And finally, I mean, the costs to operate space and time are significantly lower than most of the software as a service in the cloud today. Data warehouses like Snowflake, for example, are surprisingly expensive at scale. When you get to the 10 terabyte scale, your costs bubble immensely. Whereas we've designed space and time network to hold tens of terabytes per cluster at a fraction of half the cost of Snowflake generally when we benchmark.
Sure. I think we have a second question from Maggie. What is your top 3 popular use case and queries?
Yeah, from a vertical standpoint, a lot of DeFi participants, Web3 games, and then other infrastructure projects, enterprises moving into Web 2. In terms of use cases, DeFi projects generally want to connect off-chain calculations to their smart contracts to build better financial instruments on-chain, data-driven DeFi. Then we believe the next wave of smart contracts is going to be very data-driven. If you could connect a ZK-proofed data warehouse directly to your smart contract, it opens up a lot of new capabilities for DeFi. On the gaming side, we see games that are trying to analyze what in-game events led to an on-chain purchase or an NFT mint, for example. What are my users doing in-game that's leading to on-chain activity? Joining off-chain in-game activity with on-chain data. And then finally, we see a lot of enterprises that are moving into Web3 that just want better, more accurate real-time data. And they also want a way to connect their Web 2 business logic directly to their smart contracts.
Yeah, and the final question, you can see it. Are users of space and time generating the naked keys in the browser?
Well, the majority of our usage is through APIs, actually. We have a comprehensive REST API suite, and of course, standard database connections, for example, JDBC. And most of our customers are connecting through our REST APIs or our JDBC and programmatically building on top of space and time, building their own dapps on top of space and time. However, we have a growing consortium of business analyst users that are using our app because it's a fun, very next generation experience for finding the data you need and querying it. So our usage is growing a lot on the dapp side as well.